Hey guys, Michael here. Just real quick, it's morning. I got a little bit of time before I got to run, and I thought I would just show you. I did a little bit of odd digging yesterday. Liz and I went to Kansas Neurological Institute. We had an appointment there for a weigh-in, which, sad news, I weigh 173 pounds. That's about 30 pounds more than I want to weigh. Good news, I'm getting a bicycle this spring. I can't run, but I have a knee that will not let me run. I got no cartilage left in that knee. But we were kind of wandering around a little bit in the building, and we found out they have this area called the mall, and they've got all these different little shops set up in there, and it's open to the public, but not very many people, I think, really know about it. And in there is a thrift shop, and we went in and we were talking to the gal who kind of runs that thing, and I asked her, I just said, well, do you happen to have any records? I hadn't really looked around the room yet. It's really just a room in what was at one time a very large institution that is our fucking governor wants to shut down, and which is going to cause a few people to die, I'm sure, just like people died when they started closing down the state hospital. Yeah. Close down state hospital because you can get better service in the... Oh, anyway. So she went and got them. They were in a back room, big box. I started flipping through them. Most of it was just total crap. At least 50% of this box that was about like that were, things like Firestone Christmas albums, Goodyear Christmas albums, and other things that I just utterly would not have any interest in. And most of them were in unbelievably bad shape. But then I flipped on this, and I thought, wow, let me take a look at this. This is in the shrink and has an original store sticker price of $7.98, our price $7.76, which dates it into the 70s, and I'm not sure whether this dates before or after it was remixed. This album, some of you may know and some of you may not know, the original masters tapes were deteriorating, and they remastered and remixed the album in the process, and no CD of this album is from the original mix or master, and nothing that has come out since then has been on the originals, and the original is considered the superior. It's kind of a funny label. I'm going to show you this one real quick, and you can see how it's got all that information about, address, manufactured, blah, blah, blah. Pretty much is in a semicircle around the top half above Durham. And my other pressing that I already had of it, which is definitely older, I can tell that. That information goes around the bottom like that. And that's one of the big differences that I can see is the label. This one I'm quite certain is the original master. It's not a first press, sad to say. I'm quite certain it's not. Anyway, so I got those. The second thing I found, and this puppy is in really great shape, which very much surprised me. I love that the liner notes are by Gloria Stivers of 16 magazine. Ooh, 16! And it's on the... this is the only one of these records that I found that I have actually played thus far. I played it this morning after I cleaned all 5 of them, and there are only 5 of them. It looks a little bit rough visually, some scuffs and things on it, but actually, there's hardly even a scuff. It plays great, so I'm real happy to have it. This one is electronically channeled for stereo, it would be cool to have it mono, because these were originally recorded and mixed as mono, and that's what makes a mono mix superior. If you know, and back in the 60s, almost everything, particularly out of England, was recorded and mixed initially for mono, and then they would remix it for stereo. And one of the reasons being that stereo record players were not very common in England, even after they were very common in America. So like even Sgt. Pepper's, as late as Sgt. Pepper's, things were being recorded and mixed mono. The other reason, of course, for mono was that, you know, until stereo radios became common, you were gonna, you know. So that's the reason. Mono isn't inherently better than stereo, which I think some people almost seem to think. But it is nice. Okay, then I found, and this is kind of cool, I'm going to show you the older pressing first. I found two of these. The sleeves on both are identical. This one, Dennis, I can't even really read his last name, owned, and he had written his name on it, and there is a split in the sleeve. These are mono and would have, I'm quite certain, been originally mixed for mono. They and this, I think, might be a very early pressing, first issue, if nothing else. They are mono, and they're from 1962. Yeah, 1962. And that label would be correct. I haven't checked the dead wax and all that, and I'll let the doc do that and tell me what it means. I don't know. This one, I think, is a later pressing. The record seems to be, maybe, I can't tell which one is going to play the better. The sleeves, however, show absolutely no difference. So what I'm kind of hoping is that, because this sleeve is much better. It's got just a tiny bit of splitting going on. The worst thing about it, though, is that Jim Cochran, whose name I can read, curse you, Jim Cochran, wrote his name right in the middle of the damn thing. I used to have a one or two Duane Eddy albums that I can't find now, and I don't know if I've misfiled them. That's certainly possible after I moved, and I don't remember seeing them since I moved, or if they ended up somehow going off with everything. Well, I could not move everything, and I had to let go of a lot of albums that I really wish I had been able to bring with me, but honest to God, if I had, I wouldn't have. I just don't have room here, and I didn't have the money and time at that time to box them all up, or a lot of you guys would have gotten some box sets of opera and shit like that I just don't really, I don't mean shit, I just don't really listen to, though. I like opera. I've attended operas, and if I'm comfortable in the seat, which I've never been in Kansas City, but I have been a few other places, I really enjoy watching opera live. What I don't enjoy is listening to it, particularly when they're singing in Italian or German or, and that kind of thing. It's just not. Opera is meant for the stage. Then I found this. These are, and I don't know, I have not listened to this album. I've never heard this album, and the reason is quite simple. I don't really like the song MacArthur Park. I didn't like it when it came out. I thought it was plastic. I still kind of think it's plastic. I do think Jimmy Webb was a hell of a good songwriter. It's the lyrics that I object to, and I don't know, I'll have to see what I think of the whole record, but this is probably going to end up going into a stack to send out as VKLT at some point. It's in a one of these things. Did I show you the label? Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. That's really it. That's all I got to say. That's the whole 9 yards, and I'm going to turn it off right now. This is the third take. I'm on my fourth cup of coffee. I do have to get out pretty quick, so I need to get this uploaded, and then I'll put it up later, probably when I get home. Just wanted to get this out of the way. They've all been cleaned. Only one's been played, and it played beautifully. The others may or may not. I'm sure hoping, though, that they play well enough to at least provide someone like me who is not an audiophile some kind of pleasure. Anyway,